Hi everyone and welcome on back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Suze and I'm a bit excited because in this particular video I am going to be jumping on a little bit of a tag with the amazing Jen Phelps. So Jen Phelps has started this tag called the Drugstore Makeup Tag, and I just thought it would be really fun to do an Australian version of this. So a lot of the products that she talked about, they're hard to get here. You've got to order them online, or they're tricky to find. So I thought it would be fun to do it with some more products that we have more access to here in Australia that's not online, because personally I like being able to touch and feel the products before I buy them. I feel like seeing them online it's okay, it works, but it's not quite the same as going and actually looking at it, looking at the testers and seeing if they're going to work for me personally. So I thought this would be fun. So we're going to jump right on into this video. Jen had 14 questions and I've actually written them down with answers so that I do not miss one of them. And I also have all my products here ready to go so that I can actually show you some of those things as well. So let's jump right on in to this Drugstore Makeup Tag, Aussie version. So the first question that she asks is, if you could use only one drugstore or affordable brand, what would it be? Now I know that she said she said Colourpop. Now to get Colourpop here in Australia, we have to order it online from the US. And we don't have any in store here in Australia, which is a real shame because I think that I would really enjoy Colourpop, and I just wish that we had stockists here in Australia for that, because paying for shipping is not ideal. So my drugstore affordable brand that I would use if I could only ever use one is going to be Makeup Revolution. Now I know a lot of people are not a huge fan of Makeup Revolution. I have so much Makeup Revolution stuff. I've got a whole drawer just dedicated to my Makeup Revolution palettes. I've got the powders, I've got the cream bronzers, I've got highlights, I've got blushes, I've got lipsticks, I've got just about everything that you could get from Makeup Revolution. And the reason that I chose Makeup Revolution as if I could only use one brand is because they just have such an amazingly wide range, and they are always coming out with new and exciting products all the time. They're always improving their formulas, and I think that their formulas are actually pretty good. Some things are better than others, a few things are hit and miss, but overall they have a lot of products in their range and they're always adding to them. So I feel like if there was only one brand I could ever use again, it would be Makeup Revolution, because I would then not be missing out on anything. The second question was, what is the most underrated drugstore or affordable brand? Now I'm going the Aussie version, and I feel like the most underrated affordable brand here in Australia is probably DB Cosmetics. So DB Cosmetics, you can buy them online. Obviously you can purchase it all online, and you get free gifts if you purchase 3 items or more. And you can also get them in certain pharmacies, but not all pharmacies. And some pharmacies stock them seasonally during, Christmas, when they've got their big gift tables, things like that. And then some pharmacies actually have permanent stands, but not all pharmacies. So Chemist Warehouse doesn't have them. Good Price Pharmacy doesn't have them either. They might have the seasonal stuff, but they don't really have anything else. Terry White Chemists does have them, and a couple of the other Chemmart, all those sort of ones, they do have them, but you need to look for them. They have a little stand, but I tell you what, those products are absolutely amazing. Australian made, Australian owned, vegan, cruelty free, just really good quality products, and really affordable, like so affordable. And they've quickly become one of my all-time favorite drugstore brands. This is question number 3, is the most overrated drugstore affordable brand, or drugstore or affordable brand. And I think that L'Oreal Paris probably falls into this category. So they have a lot of products. Well, they don't have as many products as I would like to see. They're very, very light on for their eyeshadows, things like that. They get a lot of hype, but I don't think they're quite there. I agree with Jen Phelps on this one. They have not updated their formulas. They have not updated a lot of the eye products, things like that. They do tend to update some of their base or face products, but they generally don't update anything else. And I do think that they are a little bit overrated and overpriced. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite drugstore product under $5? Now, in Jen's video, it was under $5 US. Trying to find makeup here in Australia for under $5 Australian at full price is near on impossible. But I feel like this comes really close. So my favorite drugstore product under $5, I'm gonna go with US dollars, is the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. So these little quads here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 of them currently, and they retail at $6 Australian dollars, which is actually really, really good here for pretty good quality little palettes. So I've got a couple I haven't quite opened yet. Most of these are a mix of shimmers and mattes, and then I do have a couple, or maybe just one here called I Love Your Latte, which is all mattes. But I really think for $6, that's really, really good value because the quality is also there. So these are my favorite drugstore products under $5 US at $6 Australian a piece. All right, question number 5. What is a hidden gem from the drugstore that no one talks about? And to be perfectly honest, I think there's a whole brand that nobody talks about, and that's called Savvy by DB. I've never heard anyone on YouTube talk about Savvy by BD. It is a Priceline brand. I don't think you can get it anywhere else, but in particular, their cream eyeliners. So I've got 2 of their eyeliners. I have the Indigo and I have Cobalt, and these are just beautiful. The colors are just really, they really pop, and they go on nice and smooth. They are wind up ones. I'll just open the one here so you can see, but they are really, really smooth wearing, long wearing eyeliner that doesn't smudge, it doesn't move, and it just does what you need to do. So I really, really enjoy these, and actually most products from the Savvy by DB range is also really, really good. Okay, question number 6 is, what is your favorite drugstore foundation? Hands down, my favorite drugstore foundation is the Skin Renew Ceramide Foundation by DB Cosmetics. I have not found a foundation better than this, to be perfectly honest. This stuff is incredible. Now I've actually dropped mine, so it doesn't pump anymore. I have to take it out. But this is a very creamy, full coverage foundation. So it says here that it is buildable lightweight coverage, which it is. It doesn't feel sticky, it doesn't feel heavy, it dries down almost powder-like, and it's super, super light on the skin. And it's really, really cheap. And like I said, vegan, not tested on animals, Australian made. Honestly, if you can get your hands on this stuff, do yourself a favor and do it. It is luxurious and beautiful. All right, question number 7 is, what products do you tend to buy more at the drugstore versus high-end? Now, I don't own a lot of high-end things, but the high-end things that I do own, generally speaking, are more face products. So eye primers and concealers, that kind of thing. So generally speaking, when I'm buying my drugstore things, I'm looking more at your eyeshadows and your eye products. I'm absolutely obsessed with eyeshadows, and I just feel like if I want to have a large variety of eyeshadows like I do, it's more affordable for me to do so by getting good quality drugstore brands for that. I have a couple of high-end eyeshadow palettes and I absolutely love them, but I cannot justify the price of them, and I almost feel guilty when I use them because they're so expensive. So my answer for number 7 is definitely eyeshadows and eye products. Okay, question number 8 is, what is the drugstore brand that you think is overpriced? So I wanted to say L'Oreal Paris, but because it's definitely overpriced for some of the stuff that hasn't been updated, just like Jen Phelps has said. But I also feel like here in Australia, NYX is actually quite pricey. I purchased the Avatar palette, eyeshadow palette, and that was $50. And I'm sorry, like, I bought 2 Tarte palettes in a set, and I absolutely love them, and that was only $80, so only $40 a palette. So for NYX to be charging $50 a palette just because it's a collab palette, I think is a little bit rich. The Marshmallow Primer, which is beautiful and I absolutely love it, $30 for a primer is definitely looking at more high-end prices there. So I would say that NYX is definitely overpriced, and the other one I feel is overpriced is MCO Beauty. So MCO Beauty is another Australian brand that you can purchase at Big W and Woolworths. I know in previous videos I've said you could buy it at Coles, but you cannot. I went to look, it's a Big W and Woolworths brand. The products are really nice, but to be perfectly honest, I really do feel that $25 for a powder bronzer and a powder highlighter is just a little bit too steep when you can get $6 blushes and $8 bronzers, which are enormous, from Essence. So definitely NYX and MCO Beauty are definitely overpriced in my opinion. Question number 9 is, what is your favorite drugstore dupe? Now, I do not have a lot of experience with the high-end things. However, I did manage to find one dupe that I have, and I actually think it's a pretty good one. So I have found a dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Now, this is not the normal Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is the Sheer Long Wear Makeup SPF 20. So this one is quite sheer, but it's very, very light, and you can build it up. This one's in the plastic bottle, not in the glass bottle. These retail, I think, at about $65, and I actually got this secondhand for $25 because it didn't match the person's shade. So I scored big time. I am wearing this on my face today, and I really, really like it. It's super light. It goes on and it dries down really quickly, and it just feels like it's not there at all. This one is probably a bit light of a shade for me, but I can make it work with all my other products. Now, the dupe that I have for this is actually the Rimmel London Kind and Free Moisturizing Skin Tint Foundation. Again, this one is a skin tint. It is buildable, just like this one. It goes on, it feels exactly the same. It's super lightweight, and it also dries down nice and quickly. This one I've got in a shade a bit darker than this one, but it's probably a bit closer to my skin tone. But honestly, I think that this is a perfect dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Alright, question number 10 is, what is the best drugstore eyeshadow formula? Now, I really, really struggled with this, but I eventually came down to the DB Cosmetics. So DB Cosmetics has got quite a few different formulas. This palette is actually one of their better ones in terms of formula. It's a really good formula. It's really creamy, goes on like butter. The shimmers are absolutely beautiful. Let me open it up for you. I'll try to. And the formula on this is actually really, really gorgeous. I have got some of the other palettes that are bigger, the more holiday palettes that are also, you're looking at about $17 for the bigger palettes, up to $20, which is really, really good for what you get. I feel like the formula on those is a little bit different to these, but these particular palettes are really, really a beautiful, beautiful formula. All right, question number 11 is what is the worst drugstore eyeshadow formula. Now, again, this was a bit tricky for me, but ultimately I narrowed it down to the Rimmel London Magnifiers palettes. I have about 4 of these, and you know, they're okay, but I feel like they're quite patchy and quite skippy when you use them. I feel like the shimmers are not as shimmery as they could be, and they just take a little bit of work to actually, like, they're usable and the colors are gorgeous, but I just feel like the formula needs a bit of work, and I feel like the formula for these ones has not changed in years either. So this would be, I say, the worst eyeshadow formula in the drugstore currently. Alright, question number 12 is the drugstore brand you used to love but aren't crazy about anymore. I used to be obsessed with L'Oreal Paris, in particular the L'Oreal Paris Infallible range. And that was before I really got into makeup and kind of knew what was going on out there in terms of makeup, because I could buy L'Oreal Paris, Max Factor, CoverGirl, Maybelline and Rimmel London at Woolies, which was super easy for me because it meant I didn't have to do a second trip. Now that I've gotten into makeup more though, I've definitely changed the way I use makeup. I hardly use L'Oreal Infallible anymore. I think the only thing I really use almost every day is the Skinny Artist Brow Pencil, and that's about it. So going from full face of L'Oreal Paris to literally eyebrows or none at all, that for me is a huge turnaround. Never thought it was going to happen. The Infallible range used to get me so excited, but really now I'm really feeling like L'Oreal Paris is definitely on the back foot, and if they want to do better, they're going to have to improve formulas, they're going to have to bring out new things if they want me to get excited about them again. Alrighty, question number 13, only 2 more questions to go, was the drugstore product you didn't expect to like but totally wowed you. Now, to be honest, the particular brand that I was thinking of for this, if it was a whole brand, would have been MCO Beauty Makeup. Now, I was really not expecting to like anything from the MCO Beauty range, and to be honest, I actually like many things. But the one thing out of that range that blew my mind was the MCO Beauty Extend Lash. And that is what I am wearing today on my lashes. It is a tubing mascara, and I really did not expect much from this. It's just a plain old wand. There's nothing fancy about it, but you know what? This has become one of my favorite mascaras. It just really does the job beautifully. It does make a mess when it goes on, but it's easy to clean off. And it's easy to wash away. So this is the product that wowed me, that I thought would be a dud. Alright, final question. Question number 14. What is my favorite affordable eyeshadow palette right now? And this is going to surprise a lot of people, because I did say that Revolution was one of my favorite brands. I did say that DB Cosmetics had some of the best eyeshadow formulas out there. However, I am going to go with the MCO Beauty eyeshadow palette, the 9-pan in the peachy nudes. I love this palette. It has got 3 mattes and a whole bunch of shimmers and satins, and the color story on this is gorgeous. You can use it for every day, you can glam it up, and the pigmentation on this is also phenomenal. So this palette, nice and little. If I was going to go away on holiday, this is the palette that I would be taking with me for everyday wear. It is just a beautiful palette. So that's it, you guys. I will link all of those products, or all of my answers to those questions down below, as well as the questions. So if you want to join in on the Drugstore Makeup Tag for 2022, then go ahead and do so. If you do, please link your videos in the comments below so I can come and check them out. I will also put a link in the description box for the original for Jen Phelps's original video for this year. And I really hope that you enjoyed this kind of thing. If you do, give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button down below, as well as the bell next to it, so you get notified when new videos pop up. And I guess I'll see you in the next video.